Now, a very significant point of Quranic teachings is that we can understand any Quranic concept through two ways: either through the text, and text is the wordings of a particular verse, or through the context. Context means some verses before that particular verse, or words or verses coming after that particular verse. So either we can understand the concept through the text or context. Let me be very bold, and I have no hesitation as a student of Quranic sciences, as a humble student of the science of Sunnah, and a humble servant of Islam and Muslim Ummah. I want to explain and communicate and declare this Quranic fact that there are 35 verses of Quran. How many? 35 verses of Quran, which include the word of jihad or its derivatives, either in the form of jihad or mujahidun or jahada or jahada, jahadu, yujahidun, jahid or jahidu, any derivative of jihad. There is total of 35 verses in Holy Quran. And let me make it clear to all those people who are always discussing the concept of jihad with a negative denotion, and who consider that Islam has given a brutal concept against mankind. And I am addressing at the same time to the Muslim brothers who are mistaken, who are misled, who are misguided, and who declare they are violent, they are brutal, criminal activities of terrorism, and they give their activities the name of jihad. And at the same time, I am addressing the whole Western world, those who think that Islam has introduced a very wrong device, and this means a holy war. Holy war is a wrong translation in English dictionary. There is no concept of warfare in the world of jihad. Both sides should listen. The 35 verses of Holy Quran deal with the concept of jihad. And I am declaring without any fear of rebuttal that not a single verse of Holy Quran out of these 35 verses, not a single verse of Holy Quran contains the word of jihad and word of fighting or killing together in a one text. You will not be able to find a single verse in the Holy Quran. Acts of some misled people, some ignorant people, some misguided people, some criminal people, because of their wrong terroristic activities, the holy concept of jihad of Islam cannot be given a bad name. 35 verses, not a single verse combines the word jihad and qital, word jihad or killing, word jihad or fighting, word jihad or warfare. These two words have never been revealed in any single verse from Al-Fatiha to Wan-Nas, for whole of Holy Quran. This is the position. This is the position of the text. Now coming to the context. Out of 35 verses which deal with the commandment of jihad, in 31 verses of Holy Quran, out of 35 verses of Holy Quran have no context of fighting and warfare with the word of jihad. 31 out of 35. There is no context of fighting, no context of war, no context of killing. Even a lawful fight is not mentioned in 31 verses of Holy Quran. There are only 4 verses which possess only 4, which possess the context of lawful warfare with them. And 4 verses are available only in one surah, and that is Surah At-Tawbah, verse number 16 and verse number 81. So I conclude that there are only 2 places in Holy Quran, in Surah At-Tawbah, verse 16 and verse 81, where the lawful fighting, lawful warfare and lawful defensive war, I am emphasizing on the word defensive lawful war, has been mentioned in the context of jihad, and no other place can be found. And you can just keep in your mind, out of these verses are in Surah Tawbah. Now coming to the next very important point, I am going to explain the context between jihad and the fighting, lawful war. You know that the defensive fight, defensive war, this was allowed, and the commandment of defensive war was revealed in Holy Quran after Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam migrated to Medina. 13 years of Meccan period, no verse of qital, no commandment of fighting, even in your self-defense, no commandment of warfare, even justly to save your life. Even this defensive war commandment was not revealed in 13 years of Meccan period. This commandment of defensive lawful war was revealed in Medina after Holy Prophet's migration to Medina. You should be very clear on this, and I want to make every mind clear on this subject, that the defensive war commandment was revealed in Medina, not in Mecca. But on the other hand, we find 5 verses on jihad. Commandment of jihad was revealed in Meccan period, before migration, when defensive war was totally prohibited, and the companions, in spite of the violence, in spite of the act of brutality, in spite of the act of killing, massacre killing, which were being done by the disbelievers, the criminals of Mecca, against Muslims, they were patient, and they were not allowed to take up the arms just to save their own life. There was no permission of defensive war. Even at that time, 5 commandments of jihad were revealed in Holy Quran. My dear brothers and sisters, I just want to mention so that you may make mental notes. It is Surah Al-Furqan, verse number 52. فَلَا تُطِعِ الْكَافِرِينَ وَجَاهِدْهُمْ بِهِ جِهَادًا كَبِيرًا. This verse was revealed in Mecca. مَنْ جَاهَدَ فَإِنَّمَا يُجَاهِدُ لِنَفْسِهِ. This was revealed in Mecca. وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. This was revealed in Mecca. 5 verses containing the commandments of jihad were revealed in Mecca. This fact explains the reality and differentiates the between perception and reality. That concept of jihad is a broad-based concept. It is a broad-based human struggle. It can be a religious struggle. It can be a moral struggle. It can be a spiritual struggle. It can be an educational struggle. It can be a struggle for charity, for the better of mankind, for the better of being, for the better of good, for the better to upgrade the oppressed people, to protect them from any kind of violence. So this is a broad-based concept, and educationally, the reasoning is ijtihad, intellectual effort. So this concept given in Holy Quran, this is a broad-based concept, and it is not confined to the act of lawful warfare. Now I am coming to the kinds of jihad. There are 5 dimensions of the concept of jihad. One is spiritual dimension. We are confused and we have confined and we have made the concept of jihad very narrow. Lawful war is a single one dimension of the broader concept of jihad. In the same way as ibadah. When we hear the word ibadah, we consider an act of prayer or fasting. But no, ibadah is a comprehensive concept. Any act of modesty, any act of purity, any act of humbleness, any act of renunciation, any act of charity, any act of piety, any act of humility, any act which is in the betterment for the people for the sake of Allah is known as ibadah. In the same way, jihad has 5 dimensions. One is the spiritual dimension. Second is academic dimension. Third is social dimension. Fourth is political dimension. And fifth is defensive dimension. Why we are neglecting 4 basic dimensions of the concept of jihad, and we are emphasizing just on a single dimension? By spiritual dimension, Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam stated, jihad means, he said, al-mujahidu man jahada bi nafsih, a man who fights against his lower self to control wrong, negative wishes, propensities, and to develop his morality, to develop his spirituality, to develop his humanity, to develop the spiritual condition, the spiritual state of his life. So this tazkiyah, self-purification, this mujahada, which the Sufiya, the awliya have been doing throughout the history of Islam, this is known as the biggest jihad of Islam. Remember, it is narrated in Sahih Hadith, related by Imam Tirmidhi. Holy Prophet ﷺ said, he was asked, who is Mujahid ya Rasulullah? Holy Prophet said, al-mujahidu man jahada bi nafsih. Mujahid is the one who fights against his lower self and who tries to protect his human and spiritual and moral and ethical qualities in his life through process of self-purification. Holy Prophet was coming back from a lawful war along with his companions, and he said at that time to his companions, addressed them, and he said, Raja'na min al-jihad al-asghar ila al-jihad al-akbar, wa qalu mal jihad al-akbar ya Rasulullah, qala jihadun nafs. Holy Prophet said, we are coming back from smaller jihad and we are returning towards a greater jihad, bigger jihad. Companions asked, Ya Rasulullah, which one is the bigger and greater jihad? He said, to fight the wrong wishes and desires of your lower self and to improve your spirituality and morality in a way that your life becomes beneficial for the whole of mankind. This is the greater jihad. In the same way, second dimension is educational, academic. Jihad bil ilm, to spread the knowledge and to fight against ignorance and to fight against illiteracy and to spread the knowledge and to work for knowledge, establishing the universities, colleges, schools, and provide ilm to every single person of society. This struggle is known as al-jihad bil ilm.